but I want to change the format up a little bit because we have a lot to talk about today in the others section. So let's start off by talking about the Shane Dawson YouTube series, The Mind of Jake Paul. It's not a YouTube Red series, it's his own little series, I guess. And it's an 8-part documentary series where Shane Dawson dives deep into Jake Paul's mind and questioning if he is a sociopath or not. And I find the topic of the documentary feature really interesting. And even though it's not a high-budget documentary feature or anything, I feel like it's an interesting thing to dive deep into. And another thing to talk about is something that I find myself extremely excited for, and that is the Joker Origins movie. And this time Joker is portrayed by none other than method actor Joaquin Phoenix, who had acted in movies like The Master and Her. So Joaquin Phoenix is a legit method actor, legit insane method actor. You know, the lengths that he would go to in order to become the character. Even if it's a mockumentary. Take the mockumentary, I Was Never Really There, I think that's the title. For example, Joaquin Phoenix literally went off the industry for 2 years and tricked everyone into believing that he had quit it and started pursuing a rap career. And he had also made a very awkward appearance on the Letterman show. So, I don't know what would be the length that Joaquin would go to when he's portraying the insane Joker. And also, on the other side of things, the Captain Marvel trailer had been released like 2 weeks ago, and I guess I'm kind of excited because maybe after this era of Marvel had finished, maybe Captain Marvel is going to carry the torch. And this is the chapter 1 for Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. So I guess I'm excited. And another thing to talk about would be True Detective Season 3. Finally, after many years of waiting, True Detective Season 3 is it's there. The trailer is released, and the main character would be portrayed by Mahershala Ali, Oscar winner. And the True Detective Season 1 is amazing. Season 2 is underwhelming. But Season 3, I'm hoping that it would be great as well. And also on the other news, Jordan Peele will be hosting a remake of The Twilight Zone, or more like a reboot. So that's also kind of exciting. And there are also many small things to talk about, like, you know, Aquaman, we got Daredevil, the new season coming out, and yeah, I'll try to catch up. And this one is actually related to music, and I don't know why, but this isn't a meme yet for some reason, but Lil San overdosed on hot Cheetos, which is, I don't know. I don't know how did that even happen. Overdose on hot, spicy Cheetos. Imagine that. Okay, so continue. I don't know what's going on outside my building right now, but it's crazy. Anyway, let's continue on by talking about the songs that I think are meh, kind of in between good and bad. Let's start off with Ash Kusha with Fukushima, which is a very odd, experimental, abstract, electronic track. It's very futuristic. It sounds like electric currents, literally, the buzzing sounds, but I kind of don't get the appeal of the track all that much. And we have the Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga song, Shallow. And it's a song for their movie together, A Star Is Born. And I don't think this track is all that good. I do like how they are both very passionate about what they're doing, but the song itself is actually pretty average, pretty generic, and it's very dramatic and showy and all that. But I mean, it's not bad for both of them. And then we have a Cat Power with a Rihanna cover, Stay. And for some reason, this cover song, it's so simplistic, it's so plain, it's not that good, it's kind of bland, but it sounds very interesting nonetheless, the way she approaches this track. And then we have Sierra with Dose, which is a pretty uplifting, motivational pop track. It's not all that fun. It's still pretty cliche, but nonetheless, it's not that bad. Not as bad as her other single, Level Up. And then we have Cloud Nothings with Leave Him Down, which has some speedy drum beats, but the song itself is pretty average, and yeah, I wish they're doing something a little more cutting edge, maybe. And then we have an interesting track from Donnie McCaslin, and it's titled The Opener, and it features Sun Kill Moon, or Mark Kozlek. And this track is a really it's interesting. It's sort of this indie folk inspired jazz instrumental piece of course layered with Mark Kozlek's very wordy lyrics, and it's pretty interesting. And then we have Gucci Mane, Bruno Mars, and Kodak Black with Wake Up in the Sky, which is a track that I don't think is that bad, because all the performances from all three of the parties here are actually pretty solid and charismatic, even though the instrumentals are pretty lackluster. And then we have IDK with Electric featuring Cue the Fool. It's a pretty average track, pretty average beat. It's not bad, but it's not that good either. And of course we have JID, or JID, with 151 Rum. His flow is amazing on this track, but again, the instrumentals, they lack a bit. And we have Joyce Manor with Silly Games. Different from their previous two singles, this track is a little more dumped down maybe, and a little more, I guess, a little more average, a little more goofy maybe, and I don't know, not that good, I guess. And we have Kodak Black's own track, If I'm Lying, I'm Flying. He actually sounds way less annoying on this track, and the beat and the instrumentals aren't that good as usual, but I guess his performance isn't that bad. And we have Lana Del Rey with Venice Bitch, which is a 9-minute long drab of a song. It's not bad, okay? It has its aesthetic moments, but really, the instrumental passages, the long-winded, I guess, instrumental passages are kind of unnecessary. Same for the new track from Lil Uzi Vert, titled New Patek. It's a little long for Lil Uzi Vert. It's 5 minutes and 44 seconds long, I think, and it's just a little too long for Lil Uzi Vert. And while the instrumentals are not that bad, it's pretty euphoric. It gets stale as time goes by. Also, we have the new track from Low with Rome, Always in the Dark. And yeah, while this track doesn't strike me as something amazing and brilliant and colorful, it still sounds pretty interesting and weird. And this is actually, I think, the weirdest single from him so far. So, I don't know. Mick Jenkins has a new track, Elephant in the Room, and it's a bit of a wordplay. The instrumentals aren't great. The lyrics, they're basically wordplay. And I find this track, I guess, okay. It's decent, at best. And we have Open Mike Eagle with a new track, Relatable, Peak OME, while I won't put on this track and enjoy it all that much because instrumentally speaking, it's not that great, but lyrically speaking, this track is pretty awesome. I like the witty humor, and apparently Open Mike Eagle is gonna release an album without a record label, a self-release. So I'm looking forward to that. And we also have a new track from Soap and Skin with Italy, and This Is Water, and it's underwhelming, I guess. It's not bad. I like the aesthetics, but it's and it's way more lo-fi, so I don't know. And then we have a new track from Tim Hecker titled Keyed Out, and he had released his studio album Canayo not too long ago, and it's a little underwhelming, it's a little disappointing, but this is actually one of the better tracks, even though it's not great or anything. And it's a really, really abstract, really experimental, long-winded ambient track with a lot of interesting Japanese music influences. And it's interesting. It sounds really interesting. Tiny Jag, I don't even know how to describe it. She's sort of a singer but a rapper at the same time. And Tiny Jag has a track called Riding/Cut Her Hair, and at first it sounds incredibly awkward. It's like, it's like Grimes and Princess Nokia blending into one another. It's really weird, but it's not that bad. It sort of has its own style almost. It's not that bad, but I guess I don't quite understand the whole appeal of this track. Weezer has a new track called California Snow, and it's a pretty surprisingly lighthearted and fun poppy track. Even though it's far from great, I still think it has redeeming qualities. And to end it off, we have Zach Fox with the track Square Up. It's a banger, it's violent, it's brutal, but that's pretty much the extent of it. And you know me, I am, the song needs to be way more than a banger to end up in the great song section. And then here we have the worst tracks. Starting off with the 1975 with Sincerity is Scary. This track is scary. It's almost like they're going for avant-garde jazz at the beginning, and then it breaks into this stupid corny and cliche pop rock stuff, and it's not good. And we have a new track, a very terrible new track from Coheed and Cambria with Old Flames, and it's this very, I guess, corny and cheesy prog pop track. And just look at the cover for the single, and you already know how bad this song is gonna be. And we have Khalid with Better, which is super bland, a really bland and hollow and airy track without anything interesting going forward, so not taking this track. Also, I feel sorry to say this, but the new the posthumous Lil Peep and XXXTentacion track Falling Down is not that good. I like how it tries to be upbeat, but it's not that good, admittedly. I mean, I think, I sympathize with them, and, I think their passing is terrible, it's tragedy, but still, this track, I'm not gonna praise this track simply because they are not here with us right now, alright? And Norah Jones with a new track, a song with no name, and it's this incredibly generic, your average Starbucks background music. No. Nope. And we have a Rostam within a river. Speaking of cheesiness and corniness, this song is one of the corniest songs I've heard for a while. And the vocal work is very, very lackluster. Smashing Pumpkins came out with a new track called Silvery Sometimes. Bracket Ghosts. And while I don't think it's total trash, but this track is just super bland compared to what they've done in the past in the 90s. It's just really, really bland. It's super dumbed down, super watered down. And yeah. And we have a new track from SOB X RBE. SOB and RBE with the track Made It. And it's a slow jam. It's a very sleepy and bland slow jam that goes nowhere. And we have the track The Erasure from Spiritual Cramp. I have no idea what the fuck happened. Okay, their last EP, their latest EP, Police State, is easily one of the best EPs of the year. But this track right here, it's totally nothing like the songs on that EP. It's this really goofy and hideous rock track with a very lame and lazily written bass riff, and it's just horribly awkward. I don't know what happened. Okay, I don't know what happened. I had a lot of hope for them before, when they released their EP, and when I've listened to that EP, I was like, dude, when they release a studio album, it's gonna be very fiery. And this is not fiery at all. And to end it off, we have Swiss Beats with Pistol on My Side featuring Lil Wayne. And it's poorly produced. The beat is very dime a dozen, but yet it's not like an average beat. It's just this messy, weird beat, and the performance is really lackluster. And now let's get into some good songs. Let's start off with Adrianne Lenker with Symbol, which is a very ominous and eerie and off-kiltered indie folk singer-songwriter track. It's lo-fi, it's strange, and it's atmospheric. The track Bad Bad Not Good. The track Tried by Bad Bad Not Good and Lil Dragon is actually a great track. First of all, an unlikely collaboration, but they work together really well. They complement each other really well. The song has both of their styles and sounds, and it's a good blend. It's a really good blend. And also, shout out to YouTuber Bill Wurtz coming out with a new track. Mount St. Helen is about to blow up. And it's a really funny song. It's jazzy, it's jingly. The sun is a deadly laser. Yeah. Brockhampton has a new single. Jouvert. Right. And yeah, they have released Iridescence, and I'll probably do a review of it tomorrow, or maybe 2 days later. I don't know, but this track, it's way more industrial. It has a way stronger beat, and it's grimier. Yeah, it's good. Even though it doesn't quite have the magic that the songs on Saturation has, I still like this track a lot. We have the track I Am Healed from Cult Leader, which is a very fiery and savage death metal track, and it has all these tonal shifts. It has all these progressive bass riffs that makes this track stand out a lot. And we also have a drowning voice from Dödsrit. And it's yet another really epic and ambitious death metal track. Dolly Parton and Sia came out with a new track titled Here I Am, and it's a really passionate and a really emotional and beautiful and potent track. And I guess comparing this track to what Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga did, I think this track is way more powerful and straight up banger, and I like that. And we have the track Too Real from Fidlar, and it's a very meat and potatoes punk rock track, post-punk sorta, and it's really energetic and exciting, and I love it. Also, gotta shout out to Fucked Up with their tracks Acceleration and House of Keys. Both tracks are amazing, especially Acceleration kind of took me by surprise at how intricate they can sound. And it's some really fun and wacky and refreshing hardcore punk music. And also shout out to Kelela with LMK Remix. LMK stands for Let Me Know, and it features Princess Nokia, Junglepussy, and CupcakKe. And Let Me Know itself is actually my favorite track off of her latest album. And it's the rap verses by all the guest features are pretty amazing. And also Kero Benito with Make Believe. They have also released their studio album Time and Place, which is pretty awesome. I'll be reviewing that very soon in a mini albums review video. But for now, this track, it's good. They successfully mixed their usual electronic pop sound with their new indie sound, and they utilized it so that it sounds great, and it does sound great. Pretty good on this track. Also, we have Bassackwards from Kurt Vile, another very sweet and lovely piece of folk rock tune that I enjoy. And surprisingly, the new track from Muse, Pressure, is amazing. First of all, Terry Crews in the music video, awesome. But Muse, this song is actually really good. But Muse itself is actually amazing here. It's a surprisingly jumpy and fun pop rock track that's really fun to jump around to and to rock off to, and it's catchy, it's kind of groovy in some way, and I recommend it. And also the new track from Perdu, electronic producer Perdu. This track is Saromosa, and it's a very intricate and well arranged electronic percussion track that has some really, really nice drum beat patterns and loops. A new track from Petite Noir, Beach, featuring Danny Brown and Nakubi. Petite Noir is a South African musician, musical artist. And this track, it's odd. It sounds really odd, but at the same time, it has something sticky about it. And Danny Brown is great on this track. Also, the track Hush from Rose Doll is amazing. Yet another electronic track. And this track has some really interesting instrumental passages and loops and samples. And we have Shad, the Stone Throwers, Gone in a Blink, which has some really bright instrumentations, and the verses by Shad, by the way, it's a rap song, the verses by Shad is really speedy, really urgent, and it has a lot of, it speaks a lot about our social climate right now. And to end it off, we have Sinistarr with the track Corruption. And the track Corruption is a really well-produced track with some nice beats and some really interesting sound effects. Shit, I completely forgot about the new track from Anderson .Paak, Tints, featuring Kendrick Lamar, and this is an amazing track. It's super, it's sort of this synth funk rap track, and it's really eccentric, it's very freaky, but at the same time, it's very relaxing, very groovy, and extremely catchy. The verses from Kendrick Lamar is amazing, and Anderson .Paak is amazing on this track as well. And I'm looking forward to Anderson .Paak's new album a lot. Yeah, this track, it's super catchy, super fun, and that are the songs that I want to talk about today. And what are your thoughts on them? Like if you like them, hate if you hate them, and subscribe if you want more. Come to think of it, I've been saying this for like, I don't know, 300 videos, almost 300. And tell me, what do you want me to review? Any albums, any TV shows, any movies? Feel free to comment below and tell me, what do you want me to review?